Logic is really about how to use your mind rightly. Education is supposed to be about how to use your mind rightly.
Yeah.
What is the one subject that is not taught in just about any public school? Logic.
One of the books you've authored is called Introduction to Logic, and I am working through this with my daughter, Lacey, right now. And so I want to talk a little bit about logic. And I think it's such an important topic as Christian homeschoolers to discuss with our kids, because, I grew up in a world where you were taught something and you didn't have to think through it or about it. It is what it is. Whatever you were taught is truth, and we didn't have to really question anything. And so let's first, as we talk about logic, maybe talk through what logic is not, and then talk about what logic is and how we can recognize different fallacies.
Okay. Logic is not merely intuition, that which we sort of feel would be right, or that which is natural to our expectations, because there are some things that are true that are very counterintuitive, that you'd say, that can't be, that just doesn't rub me the right way.
Yeah.
But it's true, and we can demonstrate that it's true. So logic is not about intuition. Logic is not rhetoric. Rhetoric is more about persuading people.
Right.
And you can use logic in rhetoric. You can use logic to persuade people, but you can also use errors, things that are not logical, to persuade people. That's what logical fallacies are. They're errors in reasoning that people tend to find persuasive. And so if you know something about rhetoric, you can fool people into believing something that's not true using rhetoric. That's not logic. That's not logic. Logic is not about specific facts of nature. There are other sciences that deal with those. It's not about the mass of a star or about the composition of a fossil or things like that. It's not about specific truth claims in nature. It's not about those. What it is about correct reasoning. Logic is about how you draw conclusions from certain other what we call premises, how you draw a conclusion from a premise or multiple premises. It's about the chain of reasoning rather than about the specific facts that go into that chain. Those can be supplied by other sciences. And so logic is really about how to use your mind rightly. And I find it very interesting because education is supposed to be about how to use your mind rightly.
Yeah.
What is the one subject that is not taught in just about any public school? Logic, how to use your mind rightly. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
Secular schools, for the most part, secular schools teach you what to think. They do not teach you how to think, and that's very deliberate. And that's something where the homeschool movement, I think, has really been blessed. Homeschoolers jump on logic and they love it, and that's great. I love to see that. I love it when a homeschool parent says, we use your book to teach our kids logic. I'm like, that's great, because they're learning how to think properly. And that means they're not going to be fooled by the rhetoric of the world. Right. And one of the things that I establish in that textbook is that logic is not just correct reasoning, it's thinking like God. And how can that be? Because all God's thinking is correct. You learn to think like God, your reasoning will be right. Now, we can't think exactly like God. He's infinite, we're finite, but we can think.
But we are made in the image of God.
We're made in the image of God, exactly. Yeah. So we have a limited ability to think in a way that's after his character, conform to the image of his son. And logic is a great way to do that. And it's something that is only consistent with a Christian worldview.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked Podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.